Welcome to the Boneyard with Steve Robertson. As always, I am your good friend and host, Steve Robertson. This will be kind of a two-parter. We'll get going this morning, and then we'll probably get back together after Jeff Levy's Monday presser, and hopefully we'll have some update on some injuries then. I don't expect a lot of information about that. I have some for you, and we'll share that later in the show. But big atmosphere at Mississippi State, not the result we wanted, pretty close. You can see the progress. But at the same time, too, we want to win those ball games. When you get a chance like that, you feel like you kind of gave one away. Nevertheless, I'm not going to sit here and talk about moral victories. At the end of the day, we should be 5-0. We're not. A couple defensive touchdowns make the difference. It's very difficult to overcome two defensive touchdowns. You got to give your defense a chance. I thought the defense actually played pretty well. We'll break all that stuff down. Right out of the gate, though, a couple things I want to share with you guys, too, to kind of give some clarity, because I have had several conversations with people in the last 48 hours about attendance, about the East Side, about so many Tennessee fans being here. I wanted to share a couple things with you, and then some other things that I have learned. But I'm going to read this to you because I was given permission to share this. I won't source it, but a little background. There's been some chatter about faculty and staff selling tickets, and the reality is the administration has already taken significant steps to address that. In the past, faculty and staff could purchase season tickets in premium locations at a heavily reduced rate without paying any seating donation, which made resale more likely. That changed this year. They're now required to pay 50% of the seating donation for those areas, and starting in 2026, they'll pay the full donation if they want to stay in those same seats. They still receive a 20% discount on the ticket itself. If anyone didn't want to pay that donation, the ticket office worked with them to move into sections without a seating priority cost, which are less likely to draw high resale value. So the department has already tightened policies to better align faculty and staff pricing with what other fans pay and to make reselling less advantageous. At the end of the day, the biggest factor this weekend wasn't discounted resale. It was that Bulldog fans aren't scooping up tickets and are traditionally late purchasers, and that only leaves room for visiting teams to come in and pluck them from the secondary market. I think we've all tried to market the heck out of purchasing tickets, whether it be through MSU starting in January or on the secondary market from fellow Bulldogs. It's just taking some time to change fan behavior. Quickest way to fix this is to encourage Bulldog fans to purchase tickets and not wait until the week of to make a move on tickets. End of quote. Now, there's some truth in that. And also, in addition to that, other conversations that I've had, back in 2015, we set a school record for season ticket sales. We did. And, of course, we've also reduced seating a little bit since then. And so, records nowadays, when we say, we sold out season tickets, whatever, back in 2023. Well, there were less season tickets to be had. I'm told there's about 10,000 less season tickets these days than there were in 15. Of course, that was Dak's senior year. We were expected to compete for an opportunity to go to Atlanta. But here's what happens. And a lot of this is on the East Side, right? Because you think about day games, right? Advantageously for you as a fan, if you want to be in the lower bowl, it kind of behooves you to be on the West Side, because in afternoon and early games, you're not going to be in the sun. You're going to be in the sun on the East Side, as you guys are well aware. And so when people prioritize lower bowl tickets, they want to be on the Mississippi State side. That's why you didn't see nearly as much orange over there. What happens is those sections don't sell as well. And so anybody can just go to hellstate.com and buy those tickets, right? Your debit card number doesn't identify what fan you are, what school you're a fan of. And so as a result, with less season ticket sales, there are more tickets available to opposing fans. Yes, the faculty historically has sold some tickets. A lot of people don't necessarily see it as an employee benefit. They see it as an opportunity, to maybe enrich themselves. I mean, we've seen it a lot. Some steps have been taken. We have some incredible faculty that would never sell their tickets, ever. And so a lot of people are blaming all of this on faculty, and that is just not correct. Are there some faculty that deserve some blame? You bet, but they are not alone. We also had some season ticket holders in some of those lower bowl areas behind the Tennessee bench in the box, between the 20s, that sold their tickets on the open market. And for a stretch there, you look up, and in the middle of the whiteout and all those orange shirts, it looked like the orange and white checkerboard end zones at Neyland Stadium. I noted that the other day. But this is a complex issue. There are many factors involved. I don't think it's fair to rest all of this on the feet of the faculty. They primarily sit in Section 21. Not all of them, as you've just heard in the statement that I've read. Other people that didn't want to pay the seat donation sat in other areas at a discount. But those areas are not as likely to make them a lot of money if they want to sell them on StubHub or SeatGeek or whatever. And so again, yes, there is a faculty issue. No, it's not as big as some people are making it out to be. And that's my job to you, right? That's my obligation to you, is to try to get to the bottom of these things. When you guys have concerns, I get on the phone because I share some of those same concerns. I posted that picture on Twitter during the state spell out, and you could see behind us, we had a ton of orange shirts over there. And Tennessee it's a very, very loyal fan base. They travel. I'm not going to make excuses, but here's the reality of it, is if we buy season tickets, if we buy those tickets up, then there's less tickets for them to buy, unless you put them on the open market, which I'm never in favor of, unless you can ensure that they're going to get in the hands of Bulldogs. Everybody knows another Bulldog that they can get those tickets to. And over at genespage.com, we have a ticket forum. There's a Facebook group out there. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just telling you there are ways for you to get your unused tickets in the hands of Bulldogs. I had a great Bulldog that came to the book signing at Campus Book Mart. Kind of a funny story. Mark Smith married my sister Nikki. Mark has become a rabid fan of Mississippi State in the years that I have known him. Has the maroon and white overalls, all that kind of stuff. I mean, Mark's a great guy. But Mark got up on Saturday and went into work and wasn't going to be able to make it to the ball game. And as a result, Nikki was bringing her granddaughter, I guess she would be my grandniece, which makes me feel old, in Mark's ticket. Well, Mark gets to work and he goes, "Hey, man, turns out we're not going to need you today." So then all of a sudden he doesn't have a ticket to the game. So Nikki hits me up. I'm like, "Hey, let me see what I can do." I got about 50 of these requests, but this is family. And lo and behold, I had a Bulldog fan come in and said, "Hey, I have 10 tickets, and this weekend we've only got 4 of us here." And I goes, "Hey, if you've got an unused ticket that you're not going to use, I can put a Bulldog in the building. They won't even sit with you guys. He'll sit in his regular section, but I just needed to get him in. It's a sellout game." Next thing I know, he walks back, hands me a ticket. I get it to Nikki, and everybody's there. And so that's Bulldogs helping Bulldogs right there. And didn't ask for anything. Didn't want any money for it. And so I share that with you because I want the truth and the facts to be known about this. That there are a lot of tickets out there that aren't even on the secondary market. They're on the primary market because Mississippi State fans did not buy those tickets. I encouraged you guys on this show, on every radio appearance I had prior to the Northern Illinois game, is that, hey, if you want to come to see State play Tennessee, it's going to be a raucous environment. You need to go ahead and make a move now. And some people didn't listen. Not everybody listens to me, right? But maybe they'll listen to you. Maybe organically we can kind of spread this. And begin to think about Texas, right? That's the next home game. If you want to see the Bulldogs play Texas, you don't need to wait until the Monday before the game. Number one, your options are going to be very limited. Number two, you may have to get them on a secondary market, which will likely mean they're more expensive. So we, as a Mississippi State family and fan base, we've got to protect our home venue. We've got to ensure that we've got Bulldogs in those premium seats. Hey, if those guys want to sit up in the upper deck, that's their business. So it is an issue that has a lot of different facets to it. But I wanted you guys to know the truth, because anybody that thinks that the entire lower bowl on the east side is all for faculty, they're just ignorant of the truth. That's just not correct. And so, again, there are some faculty people out there that maybe don't do things the way we like for them to do, but at the end of the day, they are not the biggest part of the problem. The biggest part of the problem is we are not selling enough season tickets, especially on that east side. And so we have to find a way as a fan base to get that going. And perhaps with us playing more games, we're more likely to get that resolved. But we're not where we were 10 years ago. We've had COVID since then. A lot of people got out of the habit of coming to games, and all of a sudden they invest maybe in their fan cave or their outside kitchen and patio area and put up TVs, and it's just become a big thing. Hey, we'll all go over to Bill and Marcy's for the game rather than come to Starkville. And so we need you in Starkville, and I understand it can be an expensive endeavor, especially for people traveling, but I wanted to kind of get that out of the way first. Let's thank our friends at Bulldog Burger Company, longtime sponsors of the show. We love Bulldog Burger Company. I will have some Bulldog Burger Company this week. Not exactly sure what the craving is just yet, but I know that I want Bulldog Burger Company in my life, and I've traveled a lot lately, so I need some spring rolls because they will make you better looking. The older I get, the more my beauty care regimen matters to me, and the spring rolls are a big part of it. It's on the menu. You can see it yourself. They will make you better looking. Be sure and check them out. 3 great locations to serve you: University Drive in Stark Vegas, Gloucester Street there in Tupelo, Lake Harbor Drive in the Ridge and Flowood area. Get that chocolate shake to go. You can ride that ride home with a smile. And guys, I don't know if I'm going to be remiss. I was thinking about this because I wore my Rock Vegas shirt over the weekend. I can't tell you how great the Eat With Us group was during that event. So we had 3 bands here. We had Four Way Stop, now defunct. We had Twist, now defunct. Lillian Axe, who's in the studio now recording the new album, going to be entitled The 10 Commandments. The Eat With Us group fed all those bands and their crew just to make it a great event. And I can't thank them enough. I did back then, but, looking at that shirt, it reminded me, we went out and raised about $35,000 for NIL, and at the time that seemed somewhat significant, maybe not so much in hindsight, but we were doing what we could to help Mississippi State. And I think the Eat With Us group deserves a shout-out for that. We had a lot of sponsors that helped us, but I don't know that anybody stepped up more than the Eat With Us group. They have my loyalty. We've had a great relationship from an advertising perspective for years now, but you know what? Even if in the event that ends, I'm still going to go eat there. I love them, and I appreciate their support over the years, but not just their support of me, but their support of our great community and for Mississippi State. Bulldog Burger Company, the place where people go to meet. M-E-A-T. Okay. Let's break down the game a little bit. There are a few things I want to talk about. Some insight, I guess some things that I noticed. I know many of you may look at it a little bit differently. At the end of the day, it's transactional, right? We expect to win. And I wrote about that yesterday too. It's like the sting of losing, like the pain of losing is a gift. And what I mean by that is, if you have expectations, if you expect your team to win and you make the emotional investment into that endeavor and they don't, it stings. How many times last year did the pain of losing even really exist? I would suggest to you, not many. Egg Bowl, maybe, just because it's the Egg Bowl. But by and large, we expected to lose last year. And so you don't make the emotional investment. Sometimes you don't make the financial investment, drive to Starkville or go to see a road game. But largely, we were an indifferent fan base most of the year last year. It's true. Even those of us that are, dyed in the wool bulldog, those of us that live and breathe it every single day, you were largely indifferent about football last year. You're like, you know what, I know we're going to lose. I'm going to go to the game, but I know we're going to lose, right? And so then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because we just simply didn't have the talent. And then you get Tennessee, a team that went to the playoff last year that was ranked number 15 in the country, and you go to overtime and you feel like you should have won a game. And so it hurts. And I told the bride, I goes, in a crazy kind of way, it feels good to hurt this bad. because it shows that we have grown from hoping to win to expecting to win. I think that's a good thing. I'm not going to sit here and excuse a loss, but I'm glad that we care. We are invested enough and we care enough. We begin to think to ourselves, you know what, hey, we're getting better. That's a sign of progress. The fact that you were gutted after this loss says a lot about the direction of this program. Now, things didn't start off exceptionally well. We started a new streak, obviously. We win the toss and receive, and nothing much happens here. You know, it's a 3 and out. We actually lose yardage here. We get it out to Jordan Mosley, and it's a 2-yard loss. And this Tennessee defense, very, 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 very athletic for sure. We knew they would be. 2nd and 12, we give it to Fluff. He's off the left side for 3. Fluff had a huge game for us. And on 3rd and 9, we get a big sack. And we worried about that going in. They had 15 sacks coming in. They got 5. That's just the first of those. And sometimes Blake's holding on to the ball too long. But sometimes, too, the pocket just kind of collapsed around him. One big benefit I think that we've all come to accept now is that Ethan Pulliam is your punter. Now, as crazy as this drive went, Pulliam gets off a 54-yarder. And Braden Staley fumbles the football, and there's Xavier Gayton, always getting caught doing the right thing. He recovers it, and State now has it at the Tennessee 27. So it's technically the second possession, but in reality, it's just kind of an extension of that first one. So we start the fumbles at the 27, and we end up recovering it at the 20. So that's your technical point of fumble and side of fumble recovery. All right, 1st and 10 at their 20. We get it out to Evans on, kind of an end-around type play for a couple of yards. And on 2nd and 8, we bring in Camario, and I think we should use him more, especially in red zone situations. I'm ready to see him throw it. I don't want this to be a Mike Wright situation. Camario obviously has thrown a couple big passes, but let's bring him in, let him run the offense. And you can't tell me there's not 8 to 10 plays out there that we can have him run proficiently. But Camario off the right side for 3. And on 3rd and 5, lo and behold, you bring Chapin back in, and it's Blake running for the first down. Now it's essentially first and goal at the 10. And Booth up the middle, but it's a personal foul on Tennessee. 1st and goal at the 5 now. And then Fluff in for the score. Extra point is good. It is now 7-0 Bulldogs, and I can tell you it was absolutely electric in that stadium because you hoped for so much, right? I mean, you get so emotionally invested. You're like, man, could this be a special day for us? And then all of a sudden you get that early lead because the first 3 plays you felt like, man, it looks like we're overmatched. And then somehow, some way, you get the ball back by playing elite special teams and you make it matter, and it's a 7-0 game. Now you just need a defense to stand up a little bit. Well, Tennessee takes over at their 25. And if you remember, we talked about that in our preview, our look at Tennessee last week, is that I didn't expect there to be many games played in the return game. There wouldn't be many plays in the return game because both of these teams just make a habit of touchbacks. Well, that was really the case in this ball game. There were no plays to be made in the kick game, not return-wise. 1st and 10. Aguilar gets it out to Staley, he of the earlier fumble, and it's 26 yards. They're already out across midfield. Deshaun Bishop, who's a really good player for them, 4 yards up the middle. Calvin Dinkins really kind of coming into his own. He makes a play there as well. 2nd and 6. It's incomplete to Brazel, and they flag Kelly Jones for PI. The only thing that I can figure is he must have hooked them coming out of the break, because at the point of play, there really was no contact. Maybe a ticky-tack call, but they didn't throw at Kelly much. They didn't. 1st and 10 now, and again, some big defensive penalties cost us on some of these scoring drives. But 1st and 10 from our 34. Bishop off the left side for 11, and Jerron Manning, who was banged up and was still not 100%, went out there and played really hard for your Bulldogs on Saturday. 1st and 10 now from the 23. They get it to the big tight end, Miles Kitselman, for 3 yards, but he had some big catches down the stretch. And if you recall coming in, I think he was their 3rd or 4th leading receiver. He's a real threat in the throw game, as Jeff Lebby likes to say. 2nd and 7, they get it out to Staley, but Zachary Tillman, who was absolutely everywhere in that ball game, makes a stop for no gain, and that really gets them off schedule here. And on 3rd and 7, they go back out to Staley, and what do you know? It's Jerron Manning breaking it up. DJ Reed, a guy that we didn't expect much from this year, out there pushing the pocket around. Field goal attempt is good. It's 7-3, and it felt like a win. I mean, it really did, because they had the big chunk play. We had a penalty that allowed them to push deep in the state territory. But this defense has shown a real bend but don't break mentality. I think that was evident on that first drive. So, again, it feels like a win because you kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit and you only give up the field goal. All right, we're right back to this whole thing. And 1st and 10 from the 25, off the right side for Booth, and it's a loss of 1. And it just seemed like that it took forever for that play to develop. I mean, I just don't know if you're going to be able to get a lot of those end-around runs against a defense like Tennessee. 2nd and 11, Chapin is flushed and runs ahead for 2, which makes it 3rd and 9, and Chapin goes again for 6. So we're really struggling with pass pro early in the ball game. We had some moments we did a better job and some other ones that we didn't. And so, again, right now, you're not very inspired by this offense, right? Because you force a turnover and you get inside the red zone. But outside of that, we just haven't done much offensively. And that's what worried me. I was like, you know what, hey, I know it's a 7-3 ball game, but if you look at the opening possessions, ours was not great. It ended well, but it wasn't great production. And Tennessee kind of went through us like a hot knife through butter until they got close to the red zone. So opening impressions favored Tennessee. All right. It's pretty interesting, too. Ethan Pulliam, 67 yards on the punt. 67 yards. They made a mistake by letting it roll, and it rolls down at the Tennessee 1. And I'm thinking right here, you know what, hey, we can get a safety, or at least we'll flip the field on them and put ourselves in a good position to add to this lead. I started thinking, man, if we could find a way to go up 14-3, this building might come apart. All right. Star Thomas, another good running back for them. They do it by committee. He runs up the middle for 3. And on 2nd and 7, they get it out to Mike Matthews. It's a big play. It's a really big play here. 39-yard gain. Diego Brumfield on the coverage there. And if he doesn't make a tackle there, it's a touchdown. And that was a very, very significant tackle. And Diego's made a couple of those kind of touchdown-saving tackles. All right, 1st and 10 now from the Tennessee 43. Thomas off the right side for 1, and then Aguilar gets flushed and runs for 7. Zachary Tillman doing a good job. 3rd and 2, they decide to go, try to swing it out to Star Thomas. It's incomplete. 4th and 2, they punt, and it's just a 39-yard punt, and Evans fair catches it at the state 10. So, again, you feel like, okay, defense is here to play, and a much better showing on that second possession for Tennessee. And then disaster kind of strikes here for Mississippi State. Your defense playing so well, so they're like, hey, we'll just score against the offense. Bad pick here. On 1st and 10, from our 10, we get it out to Mosley for 5. And I'm thinking, hey, that's a win right here on 1st down. That's a win. Okay, now all of a sudden we're in second manageable. Second medium, as they say. 2nd and 5, we try to get it out to Anthony Evans, and Boo Carter breaks it up. And on 3rd and 5, it's a pick. And the ball is thrown behind Fluff. If it's on target, it's likely a 1st down. If it's not, we still get an opportunity to punt, and we got a guy that's averaging 60 yards a punt on the day. But instead, it's thrown behind him, and Colton Hood picks it off, takes it 23 yards for the touchdown. It's like everything that could go wrong early on for the Bulldog offense kind of did, right? Extra point is good, and now it's like you've outgained Tennessee momentum-wise, but not statistically. Like, the crowd is engaged. Defensively, you're forcing them to drive the field. You're not giving up a lot of chunk plays. And now, all of a sudden, a defensive score pushes them out ahead. And you start thinking, well, this is it. We're in trouble. But we weren't. We weren't. The Bulldogs showed some mental fortitude and fought through this. So State takes over again at the 25. And first play, Chapin sacked again. the second of the day. 2nd and 14, we get it out to Brennan Thompson, who ended up missing some time. We do expect him back this week, provided things go well with treatment. But 2nd 14, get it out to him for 6, which makes it 3rd and 8. And we find Thompson again for 11. First down. And see, now you start thinking, worst case scenario, we can flip the field on him. We take a deep shot here to Brennan Thompson, and it's incomplete. We didn't see much from Brennan Thompson after this. 2nd and 10. Booth off the right side, 62 yards for a touchdown. All of a sudden, we're geeked. We are. And it comes back on a hold on Seydoux. And maybe a marginal call, but you know what? Within the framework of the rules, I could see it going either way. I can't really complain about that, other than the fact we had to bring a touchdown off the board. But again, every opportunity to quit here, and we don't. 2nd and 18, we go to Fluff, and he gets 15 yards. Really, really big play there. Makes it 3rd and short. What do you know? We go back to Fluff, who gets 5. So now you're at midfield, and you're starting thinking, worst case scenario, we've gotten a couple first downs. We've dug ourselves out of the hole. At the very least, we should be able to pin them back deep here. I'm glad that we had higher ambitions than that. We swing it out to Evans, and it's incomplete. And on 2nd and 10, Booth off the right side for 4. Again, we kind of get in a 3rd and medium here, 3rd and 6. We get it out to Brennan Thompson for 16 yards. So we did see him a little bit more, but not much more. 1st and 10 now, Tennessee 30. And if you're like me, I'm thinking worst case scenario, we should tie this ball game. Booth at the middle for no gain, and 2nd and 10 will complete to Anthony Evans for 6. And that runs out the first quarter. And so again, Bulldogs on the move here. And you start thinking just from a momentum standpoint and a team morale standpoint, if you can find a way to put this ball in the end zone, it's going to ignite this crowd even further. And it's going to make Tennessee realize, we're in for a fight here. We're not just going to be able to show up and just go through the motions. On 3rd and 4, we bring in Camario. And Camario does a lot of this on his own. Makes a guy miss, spins off another guy, and it's 5 yards, and now it's 1st and 10. 1st and 10 in the red zone, and we give it to Booth up the middle for 14. Now it's 1st and goal at the 5. Booth wastes no time getting in the end zone. Extra point is good. Now it's 14 and 10 Bulldogs, and then you know what happens here? You guys absolutely turned into an electric factory again. It's like now it's okay to believe, right? Because we put together a very lengthy drive and even had some penalties along the way to impede our own progress. All right, 1st and 10 Tennessee from their 25. Peyton Lewis, another talented running back, up the middle for 6. Tony Mitchell on the tackle there. Starting to see a little more flash from Tony. And with Isaac Smith a little bit banged up, that's a good thing. 2nd and 4, Aguilar incomplete, takes a shot to Mike Matthews and falls incomplete. Stay with good coverage on the play. 3rd and 4. Joey Aguilar complete to Brazil for 9 yards. Brian Lanier makes the stop there. Him and Javen Williams, who's played a lot too. But it's 1st and 10 at the 40. Lewis off the right side for 6. And then off the left side, we do a great job stacking this up. Jerry Bledsoe is back. Good to see that. Makes it 3rd and 6. And then it's incomplete to Mike Matthews. Jackson Ross with a 43-yard punt. Evans on a 3-yard return to the state 16. And so, hey, you've kind of withstood that opening salvo, and you start thinking, hey, we are really in this ball game. And now you start thinking, man, if we can go find a way to put this thing in the end zone, you go up 2 scores, maybe midway through the second quarter, could this crowd kind of will us to victory? It's almost how it felt, even though there was a bunch of Tennessee people there. All right, 1st and 10 from our 16. Fluff up the middle for 8. And if you had told me we were going to be able to run the football with the success that we were, I don't know that I would have believed it. I really thought we'd have more success down the field throwing the football. But their defensive front kind of eliminated some of those possibilities. But how about the Bulldogs? When maybe we can't pass protect as way we want to, we still find a way to compete in this ball game on the ground. And I think, again, Fluff Bothwell kind of validates himself as an SEC star 2nd and 2, back to Fluff for 3. That moves the sticks. We go back to Fluff, and he gets 20. And it just felt like he was getting stronger and stronger and stronger in this ball game. All right, 1st and 10 now. From the state 47, we get it out to Mosley, who ends up getting 17 yards, down to the Tennessee 36. 1st and 10, we take a shot to Anthony Evans. It's not there. Blake had some pressure in his face. 2nd and 10, we're complete to Cam Ball. Kind of a rare catch for Cam Ball, but we get him for 3 yards. Makes it 3rd and 7. And then Booth gets nothing here on the play, so we have to settle for the field goal. And from 51 yards, Kyle Ferry is good to give State a 17-10 lead. So again, we're finding some offensive success, and we're getting some complimentary football from our defense. And you start beginning to ask yourself, is today the day that we really kind of break the curse? Get over this SEC losing streak? Well, again, 1st and 10 from the 25. Bishop up the middle for 3, and then we get flagged here for an unnecessary roughness on Hunter Washington. We had some penalties on this drive that just kind of aided in our own demise. Now 1st and 10 from their 43. It's complete to Brazel, and then there's a roughing the passer penalty on top of it, and it looked to be legit. In the moment, I was emotional, and I thought, oh, that's a little bit cheesy. But nevertheless, here we go. We've given them 30 yards the first 2 plays of the drive. And listen, I know we're trying to finish. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get the ball back. But this wasn't it. They swing it out here to Deshaun Bishop. They originally let it go in the white hat. It was ridiculous how bad a day this crew had communicating with the crowd. They initially let the play continue, and he had a short gain, and then it was reviewed, and then they said the call in the field is that he was down with his knee before the play ended, right? That's not what the call in the field was. He had it completely wrong, but they fix it. In the end, it's an all-sum game, but the reality of this thing is like, you guys got to get better. We pay so much money. There's so much money involved in college football, and the officiating and the ability to facilitate the game, enforce the rules, and communicate with the fans simply has to be better. All right, 2nd and 10. It's across the middle to Brazel. He gets paired up with Jet Jefferson there, and it's a 15-yard touchdown. And again, but there's so much of this was us. It's a short drive from a play standpoint. It ends up being just 4 plays, but we give them 30 of the 75 yards on a couple of bonehead penalties. It's true. It's true. Extra point is good. It's now tied at 17. Midway through the 2nd quarter, and again, we're in a real fight here. We really are. And again, we begin to find some success on the ground, and Fluff doing a lot of the heavy lifting off the left side for 9, and it makes a 2nd one back to him on the right side for 3, and I really thought we found some success with Albert Reese running behind Reese. 1st and 10, we get it to Seydoux, who gets 9, makes it 2nd and 1, and then Fluff up the middle for 11. Crazy. And then on 1st and 10, see, this is one of those drives here. Like, again, we're across midfield. We're running the football with great success. I don't know why we stopped. 1st and 10 from their 43, and we give up a sack of 7 yards. That's sack number 3. 2nd and 17, we give it to Booth, who gets 9 yards of it back, makes it a 3rd and 8. So you think, hey, even if we don't pick up the first down here, perhaps we can get just enough to get a field goal. We get ready to run. We get ready to pass the football. We get sacked again for 7. That's sack number 4. Makes it 4th and 15. We end up having a punt. This is more of the hang time directional punt, so it goes just 37 yards because you don't have as much room to work with. And it's fair caught there at the 11-yard line. Tennessee puts together a decent drive here and has an opportunity to take the lead, but Bulldog defense kind of stands up again, kind of makes some things happen. 1st and 10 from their 11, Star Thomas off the left for just a 1-yard gain. And on 2nd and 9, they take a shot to Chris Brazel, and he's a freak. He really is. And beats Kelly Jones on the play, makes it 1st and 10. From the 44. They get it out to Braylon Staley, and it's incomplete. I think this was a drop. And then Tyler Lockhart getting some pressure. We felt like Tyler Lockhart was going to be a freshman that could play significant snaps. He is. 2nd and 10. They get it out to Kit Selman again for 9 yards, which makes it a 3rd and 1. And then they have the false start penalty, kind of aiding in their own demise. And on 3rd and 6, Aguilar off the left side for just 4. We had a chance there to really make a difference. But in the end, it kind of works out okay for us by the end of the drive. But I think if I'm Tennessee, I'm going for this thing too. 4th and 2, we think they're going to wind it down. Of course, they do. Take the timeout just before the 2-minute timeout. And on 4th and 2, they just kind of swing it out to Star Thomas, and he gets loose, 21 yards. And again, Diego Brumfield again making a big tackle out in the open field. And so you feel like if I'm Tennessee, I'm thinking, man, we got a chance to go 2 for 1 here. We get the ball coming out of the half. If I can get anything out of this, as close as this game has proven to be, this could make the difference in the game. If you get a field goal here and then come out and get a touchdown, and all of a sudden you've separated yourself by 10 points in a game that has been nip and tuck. And so this was an extremely important drive for the Bulldog defense. All right, so 1st and 10 from our 27. DJ Reed gets the sack of Aguilar, and of course, the tick, 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 right? We call a timeout. We want to get the ball back. And 2nd and 11, it's incomplete, and Tyler Lockhart all over Aguilar here forces the incompletion. We take another timeout. Or Tennessee takes a timeout. I often think, why would we take a timeout? And on 3rd and 11, it's incomplete to Braylon Staley. So they attempt the field goal, and it's no good. And you feel like, hey, we have managed that about as well as we could. And now here we are with a chance to go take the lead right before the half. And this is one of those, I thought we managed defensively pretty well. This last little sequence, we made some plays. We didn't here on offense. And we don't need a lot of time to go score. But with our pass protection issues against this great Tennessee front, you knew it was going to be kind of an uphill battle. We just didn't get much going on here. 1st and 10, we're incomplete to Fluff. And on 2nd and 10, we throw it out towards Aiden Williams, and Jalen McMurray breaks it up. And that's a good player at Tennessee. 3rd and 10, Fluff up the middle for 9. And there's a part of me that wants to go for this. I mean, really, because of the success we've had running the football. But that's not the football play. It's not. And so we get the punt off, and Ethan Pulliam, excellent, 47 yards to the Tennessee 16. And from there, they kneel on it and just kind of run out the half. And so, again, you look up, it's 17-17 at home, and we're having some great success running the football. Not as much success protecting the passer, but, again, you start thinking to yourself, the difference right now, the reason this game is tied is because of a pick six. I mean, you never know what could happen with subsequent possessions. But the reality of it is, it's 17-17, and we've kind of gifted them a touchdown. All right, time for your second half recap, brought to you by Close with Blair. Blair Chandler, the only name to know in mortgage loan origination. There's a lot of people vying for your business. Let's not overthink it, kids. 24 years of experience in the industry. Thus the name closewithblair.com. He gets you to the closing table when so many others can't. Save his number in your phone. 601-500-2344. 601-500-2344. Just put mortgage guy. If you can remember Blair Chandler, that's fine too. Because you never know when you're going to need him. And rather than having to go out and do all this due diligence and ask for references, you've already got it in your phone. I'm just trying to give you some preventative maintenance in life right here. You never know when life's going to throw you a curveball. Maybe you need to refinance, consolidate some debt. I don't know your needs. Maybe the dream of home ownership has eluded you and you get the chance now to work with the true mortgage professional. Yeah. Get his expertise and know-how working for you, whether it's your first home, your next home, your retirement home, or perhaps that game day condo, which could prove to be a little more affordable than you ever thought. Closewithblair.com. Okay. I stopped and talked to Brian Haydad on my way back to the seat, and I said, man, what do you think? What do you think? He goes, I'm just expecting more of the same. Well, that's exactly what we got, was more of the same. And like many of you, I'm thinking, you know what, if we could find a way to survive this first drive of the second half, because everybody goes in and makes their adjustments, they know how you're attacking them, they know how you're defending them, and so it's so important. I've always said that the first drive of the second half is mainly about coaching and about coaching adjustments. Well, we didn't get a win here, but I don't think we got a loss. We did give up points, but I thought we actually played it pretty well, all things kind of even here. But again, like every other drive, 1st and 10 from the 25. Aguilar comes out, and it's incomplete. Nice play by Brandon Jennings to kind of get up there and get in the passing lane, make a play. 2nd and 10. They give it to Bishop off the left side for 4. So right out of the gate, we're in a 3rd and 6 situation, and you feel like, okay, a chance to get off the field. Well, didn't work out that way. And we actually kind of, again, aided in our own demise. It's complete to Mike Matthews for 24 yards, and then Deontay Anderson is flagged for a personal foul. I think it's a roughing the passer. So it ends up being a 39-yard gain. You know, we give up the explosive and then compound the issue, and that's an effort penalty, right? I mean, he's working hard to make a play. You can almost kind of live with some of that, and you want to send a message as a defense. You want to kind of have the quarterback hate to hear you coming, but it cost us here. But now it's 1st and 10 at the 32, and you feel like this holding to a field goal here would be a win. That's kind of where I was getting at earlier. Bishop up the middle for 2. Aguilar gets flushes off the right side for 3, which makes it 3rd and 5. And again, you start thinking a chance to get off the field. Well, they find Kit Selman again, and I was really impressed with him. He looks like a pro tight end to me. This is complete for 17 yards. Jerron Manning on the coverage there, and it's just good to see Jerron out there running around. 1st and 10 now from our 10. And right now I'm sure Tennessee's thinking, okay, we're going to upset the balance of this game. They get it out to Mike Matthews, but it's just a 1-yard play. And again, Diego Brumfield tackling well. 2nd and 9. They get it out to Kit Selman again. And the reception can't be completed. Trevion Williams in the face, kind of rushed an earlier throw, and I do think we're doing a much better job influencing the quarterback. And Aguilar has been a guy that has, for the most part, stayed clean much of the year. We got after him a little bit in this ball game. All right, 3rd and 9, it's incomplete to Brazel and Malik Sela in his face. So there you go, back-to-back pressures from the Bulldog defense inside their own 10-yard line. They make the field goal from 27 yards and take a lead. And again, walking away from this, it felt like a win. It really did. It felt like we're okay. Now, remind you, they've already missed a field goal. We're about to miss one too. And I hate it because Kyle has been so good. It's the first field goal he's missed this year. Nobody feels worse about that than he does. I can assure you of that. Of course, Bulldogs start at 1st and 10 at 25. We get it out to Anthony Evans for a 5-yard gain, and I felt like that was probably good. Hey, let's just kind of get him going here. And then Shapen runs for a loss of 5 yards. So here we go. You think you're going to be behind the sticks. Really nice play here. Shapen kind of on the move, gets it out to Seydu. Ends up being a 16-yard gain. I thought Seydu played pretty well in this game. A couple of missed blocks here and there. But as a receiver and as a passing target, I thought he played well. We got to round out the game a little bit. We're kind of running out of time in that respect. I do think at times he is a bit of a liability in pass protection. I know some other people have said he kind of blocked really well. That's been mainly in second-level blocking in the run game. Pass pro is still a bit of an issue. But nevertheless, here, it's a 16-yard gain. It makes it 1st and 10, Bulldogs to 41. Fluff off the left for 3. Back to him for 6. Makes it a 3rd and 1. And you know what? Why not go back to Fluff? And I tell you what, this kid's cardio has got to be elite. Because how many times do you see him just make these hard leverage runs and then just stack them? Well, we do again here too. He gets 6 yards. And it just kind of felt like the Bulldog offensive line, despite the fact that we'd had some guys banged up, we'd had to move some guys around, all of a sudden it just seems like everything is 5 or 6 yards. Everything just seemed to be kind of going our way here where our offensive line may have been taken over. On 1st and 10, it's Fluff again, and why not? He gets you 5 to the Tennessee 39. 2nd 5, we take a shot to Aiden Williams. it's not there. We do get a PI called, and Colton Hood, the guy that had the pick six earlier, is flagged for the infraction. That makes it 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 24, and you just kind of felt like, hey, we're fixing to go put this thing in the end zone. That's how it felt. Well, Fluff has to rotate out. Booth comes in, up the middle for just one, and we're flagged for illegal shift. That makes it 1st and 15. And I was kind of happy about that. I'd rather have the down back, right? I'll trade you the 5 because I only got 1 yard. So it's going to be 2nd and 9 or 1st and 15. Give me 3 chances to get 15 rather than 2nd to get 9. And you think we're okay. Well, hey, we kind of silliness here. It's a swing pass out there, and it ends up being a 5-yard loss. So now let's make it 2nd and 20. And these are the things that get you beat, right? You go from a 1st and 10 situation to a 2nd and 20, and then Booth is hit for a loss off the left side for 3. Now it's 3rd and 23. So you go from 1st and 10 at their 24, and now you're having to attempt a field goal. Well, we made it a little bit better. On 3rd and 23, we got it out to Sadu. We got about 13, so made it a little more manageable. So we're kind of back to where we started, but it's 4th and 10 at their 24. So essentially, you've wasted 3 plays. Yeah, and I know it drives Levy crazy. And then Kyle Ferry misses the field goal. And there have been a lot of people that have said, hey, if we make a field goal, hey, Tennessee missed one too. We forget that. It works out the same. They miss one, we miss one. They say, well, if we make that one, well, and they can say, well, if we make that one, it's all part of, all these plays count. They all count. You can't go back and say, well, if it wasn't for this and for this, because you never know the complexity of the game and how it changes. However, Bulldog defense doesn't have to stay out there long. And I like the fact, even though we came away empty there, that's an 11-play, 51-yard drive that eats up 5:25 on the clock. And so you're getting the defense a chance to rest a little bit. They reward you. 1st and 10 from the Tennessee 24. They get it out to Mike Matthews for 36 yards. Isaac Smith on the tackle, Hunter Washington, and you feel like, okay, things are maybe momentum is shifting. They've scored, taking the lead. We've missed a field goal. They've got a big chunk play here. They've got an explosive, and they're on our side of the field already. Well, Zachary Tillman comes free for a 7-yard sack. And again, we're getting after Aguilar. There's no question about it. We're making him a little bit uncomfortable. I give the kid a lot of credit. 2nd and 17, Aguilar back to pass, and it's picked. It's the tip drill, right? Jerron Manning grabs it, returns it 21 yards. If he'd been 100% healthy, that probably ends up being a longer return. But Lance Hurd of Tennessee said, like, you know what, I understand he's hurt. Let me gift you guys these 15 yards. So after Manning is in the white, he runs up and shoves him down rather unceremoniously and is flagged. So the Bulldogs now take over. 1st and 10 from the 26 of Tennessee. So it's like all of this works out to be a loss of 2 yards, essentially. Right? We had to miss a field goal on 4th and 10 from the 24, and then we're right back here at their 26. We give it to Fluff off the right side, 15 yards. And again, running off right tackle was a huge, huge deal for State in this game. Now it's 1st and 10 at their 11. We get it out to Evans. Really, really nice play here. Works hard, gets the 6 yards, makes it 2nd and 4 at the 5. And you feel like, hey, no matter how this thing works, we're going to be okay. At worst, we're going to get a chance to tie this football game. But if you're like me, when you're inside the 5, you got a nose for the goal line. You got to find a way to punch that thing in. Fluff up the middle for 4. And they initially called a touchdown. But the call was made, and his elbow was down inside the 1, short of the line to gain. That was the right call. It only takes us a play. We give it back to Fluff. He makes it count. Extra point is good. Now all of a sudden your Bulldogs, you begin to think every time that it felt like Tennessee had the momentum, State found a way to kind of wrestle it away. And I thought this next drive was extremely important for your defense. Extremely important for defense. Because now you have a chance to get the ball back and have the lead going into the 4th quarter. It's true. It's true. That's exactly what happens. Again, 1st and 10 from the 25. They give it to Star Thomas up the middle for 5, and then back to him for 11. So it's 1st and 10 out to the 41. They throw it up there, and I wanted to talk about this play extensively. They throw it up there. It is absolutely offensive pass interference. It is one of the more egregious, short of him just shoving it down. It's an easy call for the official. The field judge never reaches for his flag, and he gets bailed out by the head linesman. And I'm sure the head linesman is thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? Anybody can throw the flag, but that's your call. That's your responsibility as a field judge. You're supposed to have a deep third, and he doesn't call it. It's a 59-yard touchdown. It is an absolute joke. But thankfully, one of the officials was paying attention, threw the flag. They get together and discuss it, and I don't know what the field judge said. I'd love to know. I'd love to have more transparency about these conversations so we can find out who's doing a good job and who's not. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or what. It works out for us, but that is absolutely inexcusable. That could have been a touchdown. Now, right, we may be talking about this just like we are at the Alabama game back in 17, right? Remember that? Yeah, you should. Okay, so now it's OPI. Thank goodness they get the call right. 1st and 25 from their 26. They give it to Star Thomas off the left side for 1, 2nd and 24. Out to Braylon Staley for just 7, makes it 3rd and 17. We're in cloud from here. We're going to make them catch underneath. They do. And we rally to the football, and it's just a 2-yard gain. So on 4th and 15, they punt it away, and it's a fair catch by Anthony Evans at the 17. So now here you go. You have the ball back and the lead and a chance to really take control of this ball game. Proves to be a missed opportunity. 1st and 10 from our 17. We submitted 2 to go in the quarter. We get it out to Davin Booth. Basically runs at the middle for 7 yards. It's 2nd and 3. And if you're like me, I'm just kind of starting to feel it. I'm like, maybe this is going to be the night we hoped it would be. Booth then goes off the right side for 6. It's 1st and 10 now from the 30. And then Booth gets us 3. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. So we open up the 4th quarter at home with an incredible atmosphere. And I thought the student section was absolutely feeling it. I mean, I could feel the energy kind of radiating off those kids. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Just imagine being up 31-20 in this ball game. The way that we were running the football, if you go up 2 scores in the 4th quarter with the success that we're having running the football, it's a much different conversation today. All right, 2nd and 7. We give it to Booth, and it's no gain here. 3rd and 7. We incomplete to Anthony Evans, broken up by Bryson Eason. Makes it 4th and 7. And rather than punt, Jeff Levy says, hey, we're here to win. We're going to run the fake, and we get a direct snap to Sam West, a guy that's kind of been up and down, young guy, right, transferred in from Oklahoma. And he runs off the right side for 15, and, man, he ran this so confidently. And he jumped up so incredibly excited, right? So it's now 1st and 10 right near midfield. And I'm thinking right here, man, who's going to be the guy to score? This is going to be like that Arcito Clark moment against Georgia. It's like, hey, we've got the big play. We made the big play to win. It just felt like everything was going in our direction. We're running the football well. We run the fake punt. We got all the juice. The crowd is fired up. It's 4th quarter, and everybody thinks, man, it's closing time in Stark Vegas. Now what happens? Jimothy Lewis gets absolutely whipped off the left side. Blake Shapen is sacked. The ball is out. Joshua Joseph picks it up and returns it for a touchdown, the 2nd defensive touchdown of the day for the Tennessee defense, and they needed it. And honestly, when Blake first went down, I thought he was out. I did. I thought he was out. And, I saw some people say, I don't understand why he didn't get on the football. He got absolutely smacked. Extra point is good. And you think, okay, that's the deciding moment right there. That's it. That's it. That is it. That's going to be it. Tennessee will now find a way. But, again, every chance Tennessee had to get the momentum, the Bulldogs fought back. So here we go again, 1st and 10 from our 25. Fluff up the middle for 1. We make a big shot here down to Aiden Williams. And the truth of the matter is, if we had seen him a little bit earlier, it might have been a touchdown. Aiden had to kind of wait for the football, but 49 yards on the play makes it 1st and 10 if they're 25. And that's what happens, man. You just got to keep throwing haymakers. Fluff at the middle for nothing. 2nd and 10, Camario comes in and runs at the middle and gets a couple yards here. To be honest with you, I would have left him in. I would have left him in. A couple reasons why. Number one, Camario hadn't thrown it as the quarterback yet, right, in a game like this. Like, he's got a couple throws out there, and, of course, they had the end-around play that we ran with him. But you know as well as I do, they're thinking run. And I think you could have rolled Camario around a little bit and give him the run-pass option and give him the opportunity to probably find a crosser kind of behind on the backside. Could have gone for a big play. Of course, I'm not a coach. I'm just here to talk about all this stuff. But 3rd and 8, we bring back Blaken, and then he runs off the right side for 2. That's back-to-back times when Camario's come in, and then a quarterback ends up getting flushed anyway. 4th and 6, we bring Ferry out, so we get the field goal. So we pull even, and so now you're thinking, okay, all right, okay, everything is okay. Everything is okay. We're even. We just got to get a stop. We just got to get a stop, Steve. And then we do. Ends up happening very quickly. On 1st and 10, again, from 25, I remember years ago when they moved the kickoff spot back, and we want to have more kickoffs, and now they want more touchbacks. But we were thinking then, it goes, man, kickers will never be able to get it in the end zone, and now kickers are routinely kicking it through the end zone. I mean, this kicker just gets stronger. 1st and 10 from 25, Aguilar incomplete. 2nd and 10, they give it to Bishop off the right side for 6. Tony Mitchell with a nice play here. Also Jalen Smith, the former Volunteer, making a play. On 3rd and 4, it's another one that is knocked in the air. Brian Lanier gets a hand in there, and Zachary Tillman picks it and returns it 26 yards to the Tennessee 17. And again, I just felt this wave of positivity come over Davis Wade Stadium that began with the student section. I was like, it's going to happen. These kids are finally going to have, like, the Arizona State game was big. This is bigger, right? Because it's an SEC game. It also would be our 5th and get us one more game closer to bowl eligibility and into the top 25. I said, it's going to happen. I just felt it. It's going to be great. 1st and 10 at their 17. Booth off the right side for 2. Back to him again for 7. Again, finding success off the right side. On 3rd and 1, we give it to Booth, who gets 3. And these were tough yards. Now it's 1st and goal at the 5. Fluff in, up the middle for 3. And on 2nd and 2, we get it out to Seydoux. And what an incredible athletic play to stay and take 2 steps inbounds and then dive and kind of contort his body for the touchdown. He gets it in. What an incredibly athletic play. Of course, they want to review it. They should have. It was close. Did he step out? Did he not? He did not, and it was evident that he didn't. Extra point is good. So now all of a sudden, it's 34-27, and you're thinking, man, if we could just get a stop here. We get a stop here, this game is over. Over. And again, defense has kind of played their butts off in this game. They end up putting together probably their most impressive drive of the game. And it didn't have a lot of help from us. This is just kind of them. There have been some other drives where we, gifted them 15, 25, 30 yards at times. Not this time. This was an impressive drive. Aguilar gets it out to Brazel for 11, makes it 1st and 10 from their 36. Star Thomas up the middle for 8. Kind of a gang tackle there. 2nd and 2, Thomas moves the sticks after a 3-yard gain, makes it 1st and 10 out near midfield at their 47. It's complete to Mike Matthews, and Brandon Jennings just kind of row into the football. It's just a 1-yard gain here. 2nd and 9, Thomas up the middle, but we stack it up. Zachary Tillman comes off the edge there, and it's a 1-yard loss. 3rd and 10, and now you start thinking, hey, this is it. This is it, right? This is a chance for us to get off the field. 3rd and 10, they get it out to Star Thomas, and again, great play by Tony Mitchell here. Now it's a 4th and 4, and it's decision-making time for them with 5 minutes to play. And I'm sure Josh Heupel is thinking, if we punt this ball back to them, even with our timeouts, with the way that they have run the football against our defense, we may not get it back. And if we do, we're probably down 2 scores. Lo and behold, we get a little pressure, force a high throw, and Chris Brazel just goes up there and gets it, bobbles it once, and then comes down with it. It's a first down. Man, if one play there, our conversation today is completely different. 1st and 10 from our 36. Thomas up the middle for 1, 2nd and 9. They get it out to Mike Matthews. Gain was 17 yards, down to the state 18. And then Bishop up the middle for 6. And it felt like Bishop kind of got going in the second half. 2nd and 4, Bishop again for 3, makes it 3rd and 1. And then, again, they help us a little bit. We don't make it hurt, but they help us. We get the false start, and I credit our student section for that. I do. 3rd and 1 from our 9, and now it's 3rd and 6 back to the 14. They get it out to Braylon Staley, who gets 8 yards and a first down. And now it just kind of felt like it was just inevitable for them to score. You wanted to be able to hold for a field goal, but there's no way they're going to go for a field goal here, right? I mean, you know it's going to be 4-down territory. And it didn't take them but one play. And after the 2-minute timeout, they come out and they just kind of run quarterback power right. And Aguilar off the right side, pretty much untouched there. Extra point is good. But this is where you start thinking, okay, yeah, it's a tie game. However, here we are again with under 2 minutes and 3 timeouts and a full head of steam from our student section behind us. And if you're like me, you're thinking, hey, we just probably need to get maybe 3 first downs and give Kyle Ferry a chance to walk off a winner here. I got a lot of confidence in Kyle Ferry. All right, and a lot of people have kind of questioned the dynamics here. If you go back and look at this, people are like, why did we throw it and we were rushing it so well? And I get it. If you go back and look at this play, what I think you'll find is that they understood the scenario too, and they kind of stacked the box and kind of dared us to pass. And we actually had a receiver open here, but we missed him. 1st and 10, we try to get it out to Fluff. It's incomplete. The throw was off target. 2nd and 8, we try to get it out to Mosley, and then it's incomplete. You know, that's, again, you're like, why aren't we running the football? Well, we're competing against a heavy box right here, and in 3rd and 8, we're incomplete to Fluff again. So 3 consecutive incompletions. And now I'm thinking we're going to punt it back to them, and they're going to go down and kick the game-winning field goal. Ethan Pulliam said, you know what, I got a little something to say about that. It's a 48-yard punt, and it's returned just 1 yard to the 26. And wasn't sure how Tennessee would decide to play it. They came out and initially just ran the football, and just for 3 yards off the left side to Bishop. Made it 2nd and 7, and they let the clock run down well under a minute. 2nd and 7, it's complete to Kitzelman again for 13 yards. Now all of a sudden it's first down at their 42, so you're approaching midfield, and you got some timeouts to work with. With 29 seconds, they snap it, and Aguilar runs for 9 yards, and then they decide to call a timeout. 2nd and 1 with 24 seconds to play at our 49. They decided to take a shot down the middle. Jerron Manning breaks it up, and I felt like that was kind of like the last gasp for them. 3rd and 1. Bishop up the middle for 5, makes it a first down. And then they try to get it out to Deshaun Bishop. Malik Sela in the face there. Again, we're harassing the quarterback. We end up taking a timeout. They decide to take the Hail Mary route. The ball was nowhere close, right? The closest 2 people to it were 2 Bulldogs, and I think that may have been a problem for us. I really felt like, because they had so many people down in the pass pattern, if we picked it, we might be able to bring it back. But it proves to be, no big deal. And that's it. We head to overtime. And we won the toss, we wanted to go on defense first, and you students are feeling like me, as this is great. We'll hold to a field goal. We walk these jokers off here, right? It didn't happen. Bishop off they say middle, but it's off the left side here. We lose contain here. It's a touchdown. First play of overtime is a touchdown. Extra point is good, and we had our opportunities here. We did. Just trying to force a second overtime. I think I may have gone for 2, to be honest with you. I think I may have brought Camario in and it's gone for 2. That's just my feeling. 1st and 10 from their 25. Fluff up the middle for a 1-yard loss, and then we get it out to Evans, who ends up hurdling a man. It's a 21-yard gain, makes it 1st and goal at the 5. You got to think, with our ability to run the football, surely we can get 5 yards. Surely. Chapin runs off the left side for 1, makes it a 2nd and 4. We go back to Fluff, and he gets stacked up. And that's 3rd and 4. And then Chapin, going right, falls down. If you see the replay, Anthony Evans is basically standing at the goal line wide open. If we just pitch it to him, it's a touchdown. Yeah, I'm not in any way being critical of Blake, but that's kind of the difference in the ball game in many respects, right? I mean, so we always talk about so many plays, this play, that play. That's a play right there that likely could have extended the game. And on 4th and 4, we go back to Evans, and I could not tell if it went off his hands or if Carter got a hand in there. It was into traffic. Anthony Evans kind of exploded afterwards. Really disappointed not to come down with that one. It's football, man. But that's what it kind of boils down to. And so we lose. And, as I shared before, it feels so good to hurt this bad because we expected to win. And how many times last year did we just kind of go through the motions? Let's quickly go through the team stats here and some individual numbers. State and Tennessee, both. Tennessee, the most prolific offense in the Southeastern Conference, had 24 first downs. Mississippi State had 24. 15 of ours came on the ground. 15 of theirs came through the air. Bulldogs outrushed the Volunteers 198 to 131. And I think it was Kedrick Bringley-Jones shared today that in the Heupel era, they're 25-0 when they rush for 200 yards or more. They rush for 131. Yeah, pretty significant. Yeah, big difference. They did find some success through the air, 335. We were just 180, 18 of 29. So we didn't throw it nearly as much, and a lot of it's because of the defense we faced. But I think we acquitted ourselves pretty well that teams are going to have to respect the run. Total offense, they had 466. We had 378. State actually ran 86 plays, so they're 72. Penalties were even, 6 apiece. Punting, this was a huge advantage for State, which is why Ethan Pulliam should continue to punt. Tennessee punted 3 times for an average of 43. Ethan Pulliam 5 times for an average of 50.6. He had 2 for 50-plus yards. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. He is the punter. Kickoffs, both of us kicked off 7 times, all 7 apiece touchbacks, just as we projected here on the show. So no return game to really speak of. A couple of interceptions here and there. But, time of possession, State had it for about 5 more minutes. We were 8 of 19 on 3rd down. They were 5 of 14. However, they were 2 of 2 on 4th down. We're 1 of 2, and, of course, the last one was the one that ended the game. Tennessee 4 for 4 in red zone chances. State 4 of 5. We have been an excellent red zone team. And, of course, that last one just didn't go our way. They sacked us 5 times. We got to them twice. Aguilar had only been sacked twice all year, and that came against Georgia. Both teams made all their PATs, and both were 2 of 3 in field goals. So, again, you look at it, it just boils down to 1 or 2 plays. As we mentioned, Blake Chapin, 18 of 29 for 180, a touchdown and an interception. So essentially he throws 2 touchdowns, 1 for us, 1 for them. Fluff, 23 carries for 134 yards. Davin Booth, 17 of 58. And remember, he had 1 called back, a 65-yard touchdown. So you could have easily had 2 guys over 100. But, that's just how football works, right? Sam West had a catch for 15 yards. Kamario Taylor, 3 rushes. Sam West, 1 carry, 15 yards. That's the fake punt. Kamario, 3 for 10. And then receiving, Aiden Williams, 1 for 49. Seydu, 4 for 40. Brendan Thompson, 3 for 33. And, of course, we played basically 2.5 quarters without him. Anthony Evans, 5 of 33. Jordan Mosley, 3 for 20. Cam Ball and Fluff Bothwell with a catch apiece. Defensively, we had some moments, and then we had at times a couple lapses. Brandon Jennings leads Mississippi State with 10 tackles. And then Zachary Tillman with 6, also 2 TFLs, a sack, and a pick. Tyler Lockhart, the true freshman from Winona, with 6 tackles. Also had a couple of quarterback hurries. Guy can really play football. If you've kept up with our work the last couple of years, it should come as no surprise. Jerron Manning, also 6 tackles and a pick and 3 pass breakups, and he wasn't healthy. Just gutted it out for him. Isaac Smith, of course, didn't finish the game. 4 tackles for him, and then an assortment of Bulldogs from there. But DJ Reed playing well for the Bulldogs too. So that's your recap. And now we start getting ready for Texas A&M. All right, we're going to have to hustle. So your top 10 list brought to you by Kalido Guitars. That's Calido Guitars.com. I played my Ibanez Steve signature model just yesterday. Still working through it. Still extremely happy with it. Extremely happy with it. Got the great gig bag too. You need to treat yourself. You work hard. You put up with a lot of nonsense. You might as well get upstairs and make a little racket every now and again. Get the house to yourself and just kind of let the freak flag fly, or fry, whatever you want to do with it. But nevertheless, that alliteration gets to you sometime. It's the freak flag fly. Nevertheless, I've enjoyed my guitar. You will too. Go visit their website, KalidoGuitars.com. I guarantee you they've got a guitar for every occasion. No matter what your skill level may be, your level of expertise, they've got an instrument that will motivate you to play more. We need more rock music in the world anyway. So whether you're looking for an electric guitar, an acoustic, a classical, a 12-string, whatever you're looking for, you can find it. They specialize in stringed instruments, but they do a little bit of everything, okay? Visit them at their great showroom in Lake Jackson, Texas. Next time you're in the greater Houston, Texas area, perhaps you could do that this week as you head down to College Station, Texas. Yeah, to come join us out there. If you can't make it down there to see them, you can visit them online at KalidoGuitars.com. They're going to give you a promo code that you can use in person, you can use over the phone if you so desire, or you can use online. BSR. You know it well. That gets you a 10% discount. How cool is that? But there's more. No shipping. Even better. And if you don't live in the state of Texas, you don't pay any sales tax. And then they will make a 5% donation to the Bulldog Excellence Fund in support of Mississippi State. So if you're a musician, no matter your skill level, this is your guitar shop. Because they're not only they're going to give you a quality instrument and great service before, during, and after the sale, they're going to help Mississippi State. So by buying from them, you're essentially buying from state in many respects because Mississippi State benefits from the purchase. Be sure and check them out today. KalidoGuitars.com. Brand new Hardy album dropped. It's all country, and I got some friends within that family. It's been a lot of fun kind of getting to know them and to see Hardy's meteoric rise in the country music world. Of course, Mockingbird and the Crow, I loved it. You know, it's half rock, half country. Some people didn't get the rock stuff. I thought it was great. They put it on Octane too. It's always good to see our guy having some success, a guy that represents Mississippi State, wears his M-State earplugs, all that good stuff, and of course now part of Mississippi State pregame. How cool is that? Sometimes I can't hear him because the crowd is so excited to see him, they start ringing the cowbells. Hardy's one of us. We want to promote Hardy. Not that he needs a lot of promotion from us, but he's part of the family. And so we reserve some time to celebrate the music of Hardy because he's a Bulldog. In addition to that, he is a great songwriter and musician. This new album has got over 20 tracks on it, though. A couple different, takes. You got a couple different versions. You got some acoustic versions of some songs played with the full band. It was tough to break this down. What I did, though, is I went with my first listen. Like I went through and I said, okay, these are the songs that stand out to me the first time through. Okay? We'll start at number 10. Take the Country and Run. Right? A lot of that's one of those, kind of father-son advice type songs. It's a good track. Number 9, Gun to My Head. It's not exactly what you think it may be. I think you'll have some fun with it. Number 8, the title track and the lead track on the album, Country. Let's turn the whole country. And considering the way that the country is alien at times, that may be a good thing, right? Let's get back and do more fishing, right? Maybe do a little more camping and hunting and things like that. Spend a little more time out by the fire and maybe less time on the internet. Number 7, Buck on the Wall. Of course because Hardy's not scared to put a dead buck on his Instagram. True. Number 6, this is a really good one. This is kind of one of those tongue-in-cheek ones. And some of my favorite Hardy songs are the ones that are a little less serious. And they're fun. And this is, it kind of starts out ballady. And Anyway, it's like, yeah, there's going to be girls at the party, but you don't need to worry about that, And it's not just because he loves her and because he's committed and all that. He says, I would be a fool to cheat on a girl with a gun. Yeah. So, again, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's funny. But it's not to be taken seriously. It's just a song to enjoy. Number 5, Country and Me. This is a great one, too. And there's a lot of Hardy stuff with that, right? It's kind of reinforcing what it's like to be from small-town Mississippi. What it's like to value family and family activities and just kind of getting out and having a good time with friends. And I love it, man. Number 4, Hardy's dad told me this is the one I had to listen to. So I'd already heard a couple of the advanced singles on the album, but I dialed this one up last night, and it's so good. It's Y'all Need Jesus. And it's basically about all this social media hate. Right? That's anytime somebody accomplishes anything, as I've said on the show before, there's always somebody out there that needs a friend, so they go buck the trends. I think Hardy sucks. I think Hardy's getting fat. I don't think that Quit wasn't nearly as good as Mockingbird and the Crow. And he says y'all need Jesus and I need a beer. So it's very Hardy-esque. Pardon me. Man, get that cue out. Hardy-esque. It's very much on brand for Hardy, and there's one part too where he talks about, how Willie and Waylon and all those guys wouldn't have cared, but they didn't have to deal with some idiot on Instagram in his mama's basement, But y'all need Jesus. Number 3, this one came out some time ago. Listen to it again today, and it's one of those just uplifting songs. I remember his dad sent it to me when it was released, and Mississippi State reference, but dogs ain't undefeated, but they're Peach Bowl bound, and it's kind of timely considering the weekend we just had, right? So, Luckiest Man Alive, it's such a good song of gratitude. It really is. Number 2, Dog Years. Man, this one kind of gets to me, right? And I'm not going to sit here and try to give you my take on it, my interpretation of the song. I think it's best you do it yourself. It's a very emotional song. Some of the Hardy stuff, of course, is tongue-in-cheek, and some of it's just kind of silly, kind of poking fun at us. And he can do that because he's one of us. And when I say us, I mean Mississippians and just kind of Southerners. We'll take that from him. We ain't taking it from no dadgum Yankee. But this song is not of that vein. But I love the song, man. There are certain songs that just kind of put you in a mood. This is one of them for me. And number 1, though, it's Bottomland. And, of course, Mississippi State used the song as part of some social media marketing. It's great. It's great. And I love the fact that everybody that I know that has a close relationship with Michael Hardy will tell you that he really hadn't changed. If anything, he's gotten better. He's doing even more to help other people. So, again, we celebrate the music of Hardy. And, again, so proud that he's one of ours and represents Mississippi State exceptionally well. And this is an absolutely fantastic guy. I've spent some time with him. And I remember telling him, I said, man, one of my favorite songs you ever did was It's a Great Day for the World to End. And he kind of looked at me and grinned. He goes, I kind of like that one too. And we had a good time. We hung out in Omaha. And what a special week that was for all of us. But super cool for him to make the effort to be there with us. So that's your top 10 list for today. If you have ideas, reach out, let us know. Hit up Roy Samanti at Dogmatic67 on X. That's DAWGMATIC 67. And you can find our great list on Spotify under that same handle. Next segment of the show brought to you by Campus Book Mart. I was there this weekend. It was so good to see so many of you. We had a lot of Boneyard listeners just came by and said hello and said, Steve, I love the show. And one gentleman in particular was from Colorado, there with his dad. Turns out that his dad worked indirectly with my dad. So I got a chance to visit with both of them as I was leaving. And I didn't get the gentleman's name, the son. He's probably my age, but he's in the military. And he goes, hey, Steve, thanks so much for keeping us in the know. And again, hey, thank you for keeping us safe at night. How about that? Well, what I do is very, very small in the grand scheme of things. I appreciate the kind words. But, man, for you folks in the military, and I told him this. I said, man, thank you for doing a job that I never wanted to do. I'm very grateful for our military families and all the things they do to keep us safe. But that was super cool, for sure. Stop by Campus Book Mart next time you're in town. They have everything that every Mississippi State fan wants or needs. It's true. You're looking for apparel, you're looking for gift ideas, everything you need to detail out your fan cave, you can find it at Campus Book Mart. If you can't make it to town, visit them on the World Wide Web, courtesy of Al Gore's Internet at campusbookmart.net. Use promo code BSR, and that gets you free shipping on all orders over $75. Any order less than $75, absolutely incomplete. Okay, kind of a wild weekend in the SEC. We say it every week, right? I mean, we should never be surprised. There's just always something going on, right? And some news, obviously, on Sunday, too. So let's kind of work through the games. Yeah, our winners worked out okay. But, man, we had some spread issues. You know, that's just kind of how it works sometimes. It's true. It's so interesting. Trying to navigate sometimes Al Gore's Internet can be interesting. So the first big game of the day, Notre Dame, and I thought Notre Dame would win this game. I didn't think they would demolish Arkansas the way they did. Guys, it is 42-3 at the break, and Notre Dame already had like 400 yards of offense. And then Jadarian Prince was just kind of running all over them. It's crazy. It's just crazy to think about that. It's 42-13. I think that's right. Yeah. The note is wrong. But it was 42-13. So, I mean, Notre Dame probably could have got 100 in this game. They pull off the Dogs, and they just score a couple touchdowns and coast to a 56-13 win. Of course, Sam Pittman fired yesterday. That could have some implications for us on a recruiting trail. But, of course, they elevate Bobby Petrino to the interim coach. He's already kind of gutted the staff, and now Chris Wilson's going to be the DC there. It's a mess in Fayetteville, but I think it's a mess that many of their fans wanted. And, again, 2 weeks ago, we were like, I don't know about this. And then Memphis beats them, and then Notre Dame absolutely embarrasses them. And this Notre Dame team played for a national championship last year, started a year 0-2. They look like a national championship contender, but you got to wonder how much of that is just kind of Arkansas's ineptitude. Vanderbilt wins but didn't cover for us. They only went by 20. But it was incredible at Utah State. Again, 3-1 coming into the game. They made a game of it, for a bit. It was 7-7 after one, and then Vandy kind of takes a bit of an advantage. They get to the locker room, 31-21. Halftime adjustments favored the Commodores as they pulled away with 17 points there in the third quarter. Utah State with a couple of touchdowns late, kind of a backdoor cover there. Diego Pavia, 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 pick in the ballgame. He also led them in rushing, too, 9 for 79. OSU and Ole Miss, we picked Ole Miss to win and cover. They do, and I think in some ways Michael Cobble of WBRZ in Baton Rouge, they got, maybe some social media criticism after the Louisiana Tech game. He's the one that Kelly kind of went off on, and he's like, what's going on with your offense? What do you mean? Well, why can't you run the football? We can run the football. And what, they get 56 yards rushing against Ole Miss? Offense was a disaster. Running game was a disaster. And Ole Miss did a great defense. Take nothing away from Ole Miss. Ole Miss did what they needed to do to win this football game and probably should have won it higher than they did. It's 17-7 at the break, and they just kind of, went through it. And then, of course, they scored late. 24-19 is the final. But I don't really know, based on what I've seen, that was truly indicative. Ole Miss, I think, was the better team. Trinidad Chambliss, of course, making everybody say, Austin, who? But, not surprised to see Ole Miss win the game. A lot of people on the stateside are starting to think, is Ole Miss going to make the playoff? The expanded playoff? Could they get in? They could. Need some things to go our way. Wouldn't it be great if we could beat them? Texas A&M, Mississippi State's next opponent, takes care of Auburn, and one of the most dominant defensive performances you'll ever see. Auburn with just 176 yards of offense. They go 0 of 13 on third down and 0 of 2 on fourth down. So they did not convert a single possession play in this game. And so you ask yourself, and A&M's defense has not been elite this year. They've been in some shootouts, but you ask yourself, is this a product of A&M kind of figuring it out on defense, or is this Auburn offense that bad? Well, Auburn only scored, 25 points against South Alabama? I think it's a bit of both, but it may be more about Auburn's ineptitude than it is A&M's dominance. Now, Elko, obviously, a really good defensive guy. So we're going to go play well. Marcel Reed, just 207 yards. Le'Veon Moss ran for 139, and KC Concepcion, 7 grabs for 113 yards. And Mario Craver, of course, doing a good job for them as well. Auburn, I just think, is just limited by the fact that Jackson Arnold just cannot throw the football with any consistency. Tigers now 3-2, 0-2 in the SEC. A&M ranked 9th in the country now, 4-0. Of course, you know Mississippi State, Tennessee. Alabama and Georgia. I picked Georgia there. I did. Thought being back home, they'd be okay. Didn't work out that way. Alabama gets it going early, and they have a 24-14 lead at the break. And then Georgia scores there in the third to pull within 3, and you think, okay, Georgia will just simply find a way. They didn't. Gunnar Stockton with a terrible game, just 130 yards and a touchdown. Ty Simpson outdueled him 276-2. It's just so interesting how these things, kind of work out. But it was big. Missouri didn't cover either. A kind of a hapless UMass team scores early to make it 14-6, and I'm thinking, hey, they got a chance here. Got a chance to cover. They have no chance to win. They have a chance to cover, and UMass does. And you never know what teams' motivation are late in ball games. Kentucky and South Carolina, this is be a great year for us to play Kentucky. I think this may be the last year Mark Stoops is at Kentucky. But South Carolina gets them 35-13. Wildcats now 2-2 and 0-2 in the league. So we'll see how things kind of play out for them. But again, the games for the most part went as we expected, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. But kind of the main thing is just, the covers just weren't there, especially in the non-conference games. All right, looking ahead briefly to this week, Kentucky is at Georgia. I don't think I would want to be heading to Athens with a struggling football team after Georgia loses a home game to Alabama. This is how I see it. Texas and Florida were both off last week. The Longhorns will travel to Florida. And you begin to wonder, with a loss, is this the last ride of Billy Napier and his Immortals? Could be. Texas road favorite. Florida's going to give them everything they got. But, man, Scott Strickland may have a difficult decision to make come Sunday. Vanderbilt's at Alabama. You remember what happened in that game last year? If you're Kalen DeBoer, you shouldn't have to say anything. But this Vanderbilt offense is rolling. Now, granted, they hadn't played a lot of teams, but they're scoring against whoever lines up against them. So this could be another entertaining game. Vanderbilt just a win away from bowl eligibility and actually ranked 16th in the country. Who saw that coming 2 years ago? Kent State is at Oklahoma. The spread will obviously be the only real question. It won't be about Oklahoma winning. Will they cover? I suspect they will. And, of course, State there at Texas A&M. So that's your schedule this week, kind of an abbreviated schedule as a lot of teams get their open date. We get an open date next week, and we could use it, and we'll talk about that in the final segment of the show. Speaking now of the final segment of the show, brought to you by the Stark Vegas Clubhouse. If you're looking to bring a large group to Starkville, and you absolutely should, look no further than the Stark Vegas Clubhouse for your accommodations. It can also be like your entertainment headquarters. Plenty of parking there. Full-service kitchen, the wet bar, the back porch area, the fire pit area. My mom messaged me today, and she said, I had such a good time up there last year. Let me know when you make reservations. We plan to come up again. You need to have those kinds of moments with your family and friends, too. Everybody's going to love it. They're going to love you, too, for making the arrangements. Google the Stark Vegas Clubhouse. When you do, their Facebook page auto-populates. You can peruse all the amenities available to you and your guests just 5 minutes away from the Mississippi State campus. So incredibly convenient when you're coming for ball games, right? Whether it be a weekend trip or a weekday trip, maybe you're going to take in a couple of baseball games, a couple of basketball games. It's open 365 days a year. Super cool place to stay. So after you Google, right, you're going to see some booking options pop up too. Airbnb, VRBO, you go that route if you want to. But if you want to save a few bucks, and I can help you, promo code BSR, BSR10, Book through the Evolve website and use that code, BSR10. It gets you 10% off your stay. Just by listening to this show, you're saving some money at the premier place to stay in the Golden Triangle. It's the old renovated clubhouse at the Old Country Club out past the Highlands. We had a blast staying there. You will too. Check it out today, the Stark Vegas Clubhouse. Okay, we did get a little bit banged up in the game. Both teams did. I'm curious to see that availability report for both teams come Wednesday. There's a lot of chatter around the league, too, that the availability report is not being used properly. I think it is for us, but there's a lot of chatter out there that some people are maybe playing some games with it, some gamesmanship involved. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I think that the big thing is if you say a guy is out and then he ultimately plays, that's probably not a good thing. If you say a guy is questionable or probable and then he plays, I don't see any harm in that. If a guy's questionable and then the day of the game you upgrade him to probable or available, who cares? But if you say a guy's not going to play, he can't play. He can't. That's wrong. But anything beside that, I don't know what the fuss is. So I suspect when the availability report comes out on Wednesday, and of course we ask every Monday, even though we know what the answer is going to be, we still ask. The availability report will come out on Wednesday. I do expect Albert Reese's name to be on there and for Albert to be out. He may be listed maybe as doubtful or questionable. I do not expect him to play this week. Now, that understood, there's some rumors out there, and that's what they are, just rumors, that it is more significant. I am told with great authority that Albert, barring anything unforeseen, is expected to be back after the open date. So he'll miss this week, take the open date to continue to heal and get better, and then we'll be good to go for the rest of the way, hopefully. But yeah, so again, some rumors out there, kind of some doom and gloom stuff, and I think a lot of that's it's feeling. It's not information. So I feel very confident in that. Brennan Thompson got a little bit banged up too, as we talked about that in the first half, did not return. We do expect him to play this week. Again, barring something unforeseen, we expect him to play. Isaac Smith's situation is a little bit unsettled. I'm not exactly sure what to expect there, but he did get a little bit banged up, and he was working on the bike, kind of trying to get loose, not sure if it's a groin or a hip or a quad or something. So you may see more Tony Mitchell this week. I don't know about Isaac yet. We'll just kind of wait and see how the week looks. But, yeah, we need an open date. That was a very physical game on both sides of the line of scrimmage for both teams. It's what SEC football is about. And, guys, injuries and attrition are part of the game of football. That is the grind of the SEC schedule. So everybody's going to deal with some of that. That's what we talk about it. You never know what condition your opponents are going to be in by the time you play them. Things change week to week in this league. And with so much emphasis on the ground game here as of late, you've seen some guys kind of get banged up. It's how it works, So those are the three we've been most concerned about. Last week, Jerron Manning was one that we were just kind of curious to see. Then the availability report comes out, and he wasn't even listed, which kind of surprised me a little bit because he was somewhat inhibited early in the week last week, but came out and played well. Again, wasn't 100%, but came out and played well. Only a couple plays out there, he looked like he wasn't quite 100%. One of them was the double move where the wide receivers wide open and dropped the football. We had one of those too. But everybody always worries about that. Football is a physical game. Sometimes guys get banged up, and it's just, we hold them out as a precaution, right? And that's kind of the case with some of these guys too, but you don't want it to turn into something that is a chronic issue throughout the year. That's the most important aspect of this, is like you don't want it to linger. And so maybe withholding a guy this week and then having the benefit of the open date gives them 2 full weeks to recover. That's the way to go. And we need that open date. We do. And I'm eager to see what A&M looks like. That was a physical game too between A&M and A&M and Auburn. If you hadn't watched it, you can go back and watch these games on demand. A&M dominated the game. They did. But again, I think some of that had to do with Auburn's inability to string anything together. Now, A&M had something to do with that, but I think Jackson Arnold being somewhat limited as a passer has been a real issue in the Hugh Freeze offense. They're very good with the RPO stuff. But when that's basically all you can do, run the football, run some RPO stuff, you can't really challenge vertically, people just aren't going to respect the passing game. So again, we'll do our research, and come Wednesday, we'll have the opportunity to kind of break down A&M. Between now and then, I'll have watched maybe 3 or 4 of their games, and then we'll kind of see what things look like. I hope to be able to watch all 4 of them. Sometimes time gets away from me, but that's what we're hearing right now on the injury front. And again, once the availability report comes out Wednesday evening, we'll have kind of a better idea of how that's going to play. And Jeff Lebby, he said some things earlier this year on Mondays, but now that we're in the SEC play, he's just going to kind of let the availability report do the talking. But there are plenty of people out there that have information to share, and you just hope that it's accurate. But I feel very confident that this whole situation with Albert Reese is not a season-ending thing. I don't think it's going to be a lengthy thing at all. And I do expect him to be back, again, barring something unforeseen, when we get ready to go to Gainesville. And who knows who's going to be coaching the Gators by the time we get there. We may play multiple interim coaches before the season is over. So listen, thank you guys so much for your support of the show. And, man, when you guys come up and say hello, and I have so many people, and the first things they say is, man, listen to your podcast. I love the Boneyard. Thank you so much for that. Because when I first started doing this show, I wondered if anybody would even listen, And now we've been doing this, man, so many years now. What is it? I guess I could do the math on it, man. But it's like, I think we're in year 14. I think that's right. I'd have to go back and double check. But I think we're in year 14. I was still living in Baton Rouge for a couple years, 2 to 3 years, before I moved to Starkville. And once we moved to Starkville, we went from having like a two episode a week schedule to 3. And then we've expanded from 25 minutes to an hour 30, almost an hour 40 today. And we got some shows that run that way too. But I couldn't do it every day. Some people have said, hey, why don't you do like an hour a day? I couldn't do it. I mean, it's just the time commitment that it takes sometimes. I enjoy getting out here and talking with you guys and being your eyes and ears and sharing quality information with you and my take on Mississippi State sports. And I'm glad that it matters to some of you. So incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. I want you to have the things that I want for myself in life. And I love each of you, whether you love me back or not. I know at the end of the day that we're all Bulldogs, and my hope is that we can have a sense of unity about our athletic programs kind of moving forward. There's always going to be some people, that are never going to agree that no matter what we do, it's not enough. I've just kind of learned to live with that. But the reality of it is I enjoy doing the show, and I enjoy having the opportunity to be a part of your lives. And it was one time I made a post on Facebook some time ago, and I said I was kind of taking some time off. It was really after writing a book. I just needed to kind of get my mind around things. I have not taken any time off from the Boneyard since the beginning. There were some technical difficulties at times when we had the studio, and sometimes we'd record a show, and for some reason the audio wasn't good, so we didn't get to publish it. But no matter where I go, we do the show. Holidays, if I'm in New Mexico or in Florida or in Arkansas, I take the microphone with me and we record the show wherever we are to make sure you get your 3 shows a week. And sometimes, of course, we do it 4 and 5 times a week in uncertain circumstances. But come join us over at genespage.com. I think they're still running a 30% off special. Now's a good time to get on board. If you want to get the Paramount Plus, like tonight I'm going to watch Tulsa King. I hadn't started season 3 yet. I love that show. If you're a full-time full-price subscriber, you get Paramount Plus for free. And, of course, there were some sources some time ago, to justify their own bad buying decision. It's like, I'm not going to be with 247, and I heard the Paramount Plus thing's going away. No, it's not, idiot. No, it's not. So if you are paying full price for genespage.com, you get Paramount Plus for free and all their programming. And I can't wait to go sit down and watch Tulsa King. Sylvester Stallone has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love the show. I do. And I'm curious to see who picked him up at the end of season 2. Can't wait to watch. I'm going to get started here probably in an hour or so. Run through a couple of episodes, and we'll see where things sit. Tomorrow being the Tuesday, I'll be able to knock out a little bit more. So, again, that's a great benefit. Now, if you're buying Gene's Page at a discounted rate, you don't get Paramount Plus until the promotional period runs out and you're a full paid member. But, if you want to sign up, you don't have to take the discount because having Paramount Plus is a discount in and of itself. So, especially if you're already paying for it, right? Then you can be able to cancel that and use the jeanspage.com subscription and the Paramount Plus rights as well. So that's a cool thing too. Come float with us at True West Floats, Bob Starkville. You can call Dana today at 662-268-7601. Floating has made the quality of my life much better. Dana floats at least once a week. I'm in there probably 2 to 3 times a month. I should float more often. Every time I float, I say, I need to get in here more often. That's probably one of the things I'll do tomorrow evening, depending on how deep I get into Tulsa King. But I need to go float more regularly, especially with trips coming up. I think it's important to take care of ourselves, and it's not just about self-care. I think it's just kind of like doing something for me, but also improving my quality of sleep, and maybe you qualify for that as well. I don't know. And then go to DutyNobleBook.com. You get signed copies of all my sports titles, plus When the Bottom Falls. Again, that's DutyNobleBook.com. Hey, until next time, let's all live our lives in a way we make more friends and enemies, and people can see a difference in the way we live.